Boom, we are pre-recorded again today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got an exciting afternoon for you. We're going to start off today by, again, thanking you for sharing your most valuable asset with us. That's your time and your attention. I'm very, very grateful for it. Right off the get-go, I don't normally do this, but hey, smash that thumbs up button anyways, because I know the Bear family, we are growing and consistently returning. We love sharing and building together. Join the Telegram channels if you haven't. Links in the section down below. We had a great run last week on almost every token we were looking at in the private Bear trading club, as well as just the open Bear family in general. So that was exciting. Double-digit gains almost across the board. So we're going to dive in. We're going to be doing some hunting, looking at some of the tokens we think will do well over the next little while. But more importantly, just today, we're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin and make the general assertions of what I think might happen this week. We also have a podcast guest later today, Paula Santana, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited for this as well, so keep your eyes open. She has a company called Social Glass. She does, well, their team, I guess, in general, is working to help decentralized governments through technology. So we're very excited for that. We'll be posting that interview and podcast later today. But let's just dive in and take a look at the charts. So Bitcoin, it bounced off this 3950 area and jumped right back up to 4070. Again, it's just building this really nice base support line for when we zoom out, I guess, rocket ship out of here in the future. Now, I've said this a bunch of times before, and I just want to reiterate, and I think it's important to reiterate because sometimes we think these ideas change, but on the right-hand side of my screen here, I have a tool that I very much so like. It's part of the the pro version of TradingView. It's called the volume profile. Now, volume profile fills aren't necessarily all that relevant, but what I have liked is it shows a real key idea between where most of the buying and selling is taking place and where there are big gaps in that fill. See how we've been building this area here right around 4,000, 3,000, and then look at it compared to around the $6,000 area that we had built before. Now look how much time we had spent at that $6,000 area, and we still broke through, and we fell almost right to this $4,000 area where there's the next major fill. Now, between the $3,000 area, there's only the $2,500 support. And below that, nothing until $1,200. This is why I think the bear market is going to continue. The other idea that is very, very important here is I received a message from two of my friends today that says, I'm out of the crypto world, whatever, I don't like these assets, blah, 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 blah. That's perfect. I actually tried to tell them that they shouldn't be walking that path, but essentially I also reminded them those are what are the entry points that I look for. If people are starting to doubt this asset class, this space in general, that means we're getting closer to the bottom. Not at the bottom yet. These are just the first people that are starting to exit these positions. They're going to go out in droves over the next few months, I believe, as there are difficulties in the market. So this volume profile fill has actually become one of the most important areas that I look at a lot of the times when I'm doing not just interactive sort of swing trades, but even if I'm looking at kind of day trading ideas. This VPR has become one of my favorite tools. Now, we have a lot of, there's a lot of distance between this $4,000 area and the $1,200 area. And look at this triangle that we've been following quite consistently. Now, ascending triangles like this only break to the upside if we were in a continuation pattern. But seeing as we're in a continuation pattern to the downside, ascending triangles usually break to the downside. This is actually one of the fun things about an ascending triangle. It's a continuation pattern of whatever market space you were in before. And we have not left the bear market space, so this is actually a continuation pattern to the downside. Anyways, everyone wants to give guff on the hyperwave idea. I don't think it's, even if you're not looking at it from a hyperwave perspective, there's a massive gap here in this profile fill, and there's nothing holding us up until the $1,200 area. And I think that's extremely important to pay attention to because one, we need to fill this gap. This should be filled with volume. And then once that volume is filled, everywhere between $1,100 and the $3,000 area again, that is when we will rocket ship out of this space. And that is what I'm really looking forward to. Now, when that is, it's probably way closer to 2020 here. I'll just draw this imaginary line here for when I think it's going to start, somewhere around December 15th, December 12th. And we'll just leave that there for the next 6 months to see how close we can get, judging by our general assertion on market sentiments. I've said this countless times before, and what I'm really interested in watching is actually the S&P 500's relationship and where we go next. We've been stuck in this B wave, and kind of we've actually been consolidating right above the last vestige of support and right below the last area of resistance. This is neither bullish nor bearish in the markets yet, but it's very, very important to keep an eye on, because I believe this has the intrinsic relationship between what happens in our space next and why. That's also very closely related to the DXY. As soon as the stock market started to go down, the dollar started to go up. This is that correlation that seems to be consistent. It has been relentlessly consistent, and as a matter of fact, I believe this is one of the areas of contention that are going to bring the most momentum into this space. Now, I had an article up here a few days ago. I think I've lost it. Oh, here's more about social glass. We'll go over that. Palace Antenna is fantastic. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Fulbright scholar and graduate from George Washington Georgetown Singularity University. She's been featured as CNET's top 20 Latin and tech, Forbes top 50 women in power in Central America, and LinkedIn's top professionals under 35. This woman's a powerhouse. Jesus, very excited to have her on the show. But Mises. There we go. The Fed has given up, and they're going to ramp up more QE. I meant to do an article and a video about this just specifically, but you know, hey, things happen in life, and this is what's going on. But I thought this is really important to note. This is on the 21st of March, so just a few days ago. This is Federal Reserve's Federal Open Market Committee on Wednesday voted unanimously to keep the federal funds rate unchanged. Overall, the FOMC signaled that has made this dovish turn away from the promised normalization of monetary policy, which the Fed has promised will be implemented someday for the last decade. Although the Fed began slowly to raise rates in 2016, and after nearly a decade of near zero rates, the target rate never returned to the percent, and thus remains well below what the normal rate had seen to the prior 2008 financial crisis. This is so important, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Bitcoin is valuable, is because it does not have the inflationary aspects that are basically the widespread failure rate of all these other currencies. So I think what's most important is keeping an eye on the DXY and the S&P 500 right now, because whatever they do next in the Fed is going to be our market signal for Bitcoin. Now, they can actually prolong this for a lot longer than we would like, and this is one of the reasons why I think we're going to see that further downtrend, is because I believe that prolonged, I guess, inevitability of having to deal with this ridiculously difficult fact that we've ran over a cliff and there's nothing holding us up anymore, will be what bodes well and sends us into the $100,000 Bitcoin range, but it's not for this next time, or this next year here. I guess, like I said, my guess is somewhere around December for when we actually see a return to a bull market sentiment, and from there we'll probably be starting, I would suspect, we'll be anywhere between this $3,000 and $2,000 area between that in that December date. So I'm just gonna rough draw, future predict something just for giggles here. And I know this is not the wave you're supposed to use. I just want to use it like this. I suspect it'll probably be something like this. Maybe even lower on that point. Yeah. See, this is my original guess is around $1,500 for Bitcoin. But once we break that $3,000 area, it's going to scare a lot of people, especially the people that think that having mining being profitable is necessity. Mining has not always been profitable for those who are interested in investing in the blockchain space. They do it because they're interested in the future outcome of the work that they do now. So very, very interesting sentiment for that. This is my rough guess for what we'll do over the next few months. So I'm actually just going to leave that there. I will delete it probably over the next few weeks, but everyone, we'll add this into the private newsletter. Hey, so for those of you that are interested, we're going to be doing our private newsletter, our private education, and our push Telegram channel. So if you want, go to arcanebear.com, go to the Bear Club, or just actually in the links down below. It's $20 a month as a subscription set up for PayPal. You guys can cancel at any time. Actually, this first month, I don't think we'll even have recurring payments. It'll just be this 1 month, and we'll just do that at a time. But essentially, all of this note-taking stuff, we're going to put in an area that's a lot more accessible. I know so many of you have asked, how can I keep track of the notes? Because the videos move so quickly and there's so much information that's taking place. And then I will delete this and I won't look at it again. So we're going to start saving it in the private Telegram Bear Den area. Essentially, it's for you guys so that you have well, first off, it's so we can keep track of our wins and losses too a little more easily. Anyways, very quickly, I will finish off with Ethereum here. and Litecoin. Again, these are following in lockstep. What's really interesting is we've cuddled up right between, see on Ethereum here, this is a fairly dangerous area because we are stuck right below the 100-day moving average, 100-day exponential moving average, and right above the 50 exponential moving average. This is like the crunch time. It's literally the crunch time. Look at these averages, crunch this price down right into that area. This is really, really good. I'm really excited about this because whatever way it breaks, it's going to break quickly. Now, on the daily chart, your moving average convergence and divergence has actually been headed down. Even with this positive momentum on the turn up, I do suspect that we are still headed down, and we're actually going to converge over here on the daily, which is going to bring Ethereum's price down. Now, if we look at Litecoin, I had mentioned that I was actually quite interested in Litecoin's price movement because it jumped above the exponential moving averages. Now, I'm going to probably say that's a bunch of Litecoin hodlers speaking their hype. I don't suspect that will hold, again, mostly because of the volume profile fill, although it did really build this gap up between the $50 and $30 area that I'm quite impressed with. A return to the $30 area is still quite possible, especially if we don't break above $65. This $65 or $66 area right here, this is a huge area of resistance to break out of, and we have not yet, and we've been trying to at least 2 or 3 times. So I have to keep a close eye on that. Anyways, market updates for today. We will take a look at Raven. I actually jumped in just on a short play yesterday from around 1250, and I'm out of that position again now. Just on the 15-minute chart, you can see when we have big sells like that, this big drop, and then we hit this area of support. This looked very interesting to me yesterday, so I jumped in for a short play, and I'm already out. Anyways, smash those thumbs up if you like this content. If you're new to the Bear family, please do subscribe and hit that little bell. That way you guys will always be notified. Stay tuned for our interview and our podcast later this afternoon. And Bear family, thank you. I love you guys. This has been a fantastic ride. I hope you guys have been enjoying the positive wins. They're not always so exciting, so it's great to have that in our market sentiment right now. I'm deeply grateful for all your support, and I'm very excited to see what the next year brings for us, because I believe it is going to be very, very exciting. Steve with the Arcane Bear signing off, and we will see you guys on the other side. Boop!